Welcome, Anuja. Welcome to Her Voice. We can't wait to, embark on this beautiful life journey that you've had and share it with everyone who can directly be inspired from someone who's donned many hats and has founded her passion around building community as a landscape artist. So we are very, very honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Shweta, and thank you, Her Voice, for having me over here. I actually never thought that my journey was so inspiring, but yeah, I have changed over the years. I think every decade has been a different thing, completely opposite of what I've been doing earlier. So yes, thank you for having me over, and I will be very happy and pleased if my journey can inspire even a few people out there.
It will.
Thank you.
Okay, so starting from, I always feel that it is in your childhood, in your formative years that, the later part of your life, the seeds are sown there.
Correct.
You've been the daughter of an ex-army officer, growing up in sprawling residences of cantonment with really huge gardens. And, as a kid, having that as your environment growing up, we want to know your journey from that little Anuja, having that at the back of her mind. Because, you had your gardeners attending to those landscape areas, you picked up, but then you went on to become a cabin crew.
Yeah.
And then from there, getting married, coming to this city and starting Dragonfly. We would love to have a reflection on that journey.
So as a child, I took gardens for, just granted, because wherever we went, there were always plants around us. My father and my mother both actually they moved to India from Dhaka. They owned large lands over there. My grandfather was a landlord. Coming from there, and then my dad, he joined the army. He was part of a regiment or a corps where you supply the food to the rest of the army. So wherever he got posted, he would try and plant trees. It was literally like how you read about the Ashoka journey, in your history book. He would plant avenue trees wherever he was posted. He would do his kheti, whatever vegetables, send it to the neighbors, everybody. So I've just grown up seeing that. And he was very fond of flowers and beautiful gardens. Both my mom and dad, they had a green thumb. They would grow everywhere. So it was, it's just part of me. I just imbibed it. It's just when I went to Mumbai as a cabin crew, I stayed there in a small apartment, in a hostel. I realized that people have plants even in small places, which impressed me because there were no large gardens there, but people kept green around them. And that was very inspiring. Coming back and with my travels, when I traveled around the world, I was always drawn towards the large gardens, whether it was in London or Singapore or in Japan. It was very, very attractive to me. And that's how I knew this is the line I have to be in once I got back here in Ahmedabad.
It's a lovely serendipitous journey that, you've spoken about. And now knowing a little bit about Dragonfly, we would really want to know what was the vision behind starting it. And, it started as a landscape initiative, which definitely reflects your personality as a very conscious designer. But it's very sustainable in it because it is a lot of organic farming as a philosophy that you run Dragonfly with. And it's not just about farms. It's about, bringing that outdoors inside. Yes. That's how you are a landscape artist for some of the most beautiful homes. To taking workshops wherein, you say that, okay, if you cannot have a sprawling garden, even a little landscaping corner that you do can bring in that boutique feel.
Correct.
So if you would, just tell us more about that.
So Dragonfly, when I started developing my land, my garden, it started together with farming. I started growing orchard trees in my farm and I started creating a garden because I feel you have to enjoy what you do. You have to have some pretty things around you, which again comes down to flowers and pretty creations around you. At the same time, it can all be sustainable. So you work on 80% things which are sustainable and 20% I think you should go out and do exactly what pleases you. So, and eventually the sustainable part will take over. So then, everything becomes sustainable. It's like if you're growing trees, everything does not have to be native and everything, because 80% is native. Everything doesn't have to be something
which is local.
Which is local and which is for the environment, because plant as such, everything is for the environment. So you have to do something which makes you happy at the same time. And then the bigger trees, they support the younger ones, and it's a community. So that is how when I was doing my own garden, I thought, and I got compliments from friends and family. So I thought this is what I should be doing, because it really makes me happy when I'm working in the garden, creating something beautiful and pretty. Even now when I walk around, if I see something, I said, isko thoda idhar shift kar diya jaye. Aisa rakh do to kitna sundar lagega. Even till date, after so many years, I keep shifting things around, trying to put something better, trying to learn something from, people I associate with. If I know there's a master in any subject, I just want to go and learn from them and use it in my way in creating gardens.
So what I understand that you've been a lifelong student.
I absolutely. I think we are all lifelong students. We should, because you have to learn out throughout your life and you will never learn enough. So I'm a learner, I'm a teacher, and I'm one person who's never going to retire. I think I'm going to retire when I die.
That's the biggest pearl of advice that you've given us early on in the segment. And, listening to your story, I really feel that you are a landscape curator, which not many people, until now have explored. And we are so lucky to be in your presence to understand that as a dimension.
Thank you so much. But yes, I feel styling, plantation, there are a lot of people who will do plantation, and any botanist will do it or will know their plants. But styling it and making it personalized. Say for Ahmedabad, there are, say, about 100 species which work. Now, all landscapists work with those 100 species. How does one garden look different from the other? It is how I personalize it. I take the personality of the client, the personality of the homeowner, and try to give them what they want more. More of pink colors, if that's their passion. More of leaves, if that's what they like. And then I put in our accessories, interesting birds, interesting stakes or artifacts or antiques. I love collecting old stones and nice urns. So whatever, if you come to Dragonfly Farm, you'll see I have collected a lot of things in spite of what we make. And putting all that together and giving you a very personalized feel of the garden is what really makes me happy and what puts me apart from the other landscapers.
I've definitely been on the receiving end with all the projects that we've worked together. And you've always made it very iconic, no matter how big or small the space is. So I totally understand, the vision, the effort, the authenticity that goes into it. And that's why I think you really stand out from many other around.
Thank you so much. Thanks. And I'm always working on it. Yes. Every day I'm learning something. And I get, even today, like when I go to a new site, I'm equally excited. And I'm equally nervous. Like, ab kya hoga?
It's like the first day.
It's absolutely like the first day. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And when it starts shaping, I start jumping, literally, So I can't slow down. And I feel that is what is interesting in any human being. In any field, whatever your field may be, you have to be passionate about it. It is not necessary that you have a profession, which is your passion. Like in my case,
because you had a formal training which was completely different as a field. And then you had courses to, make you understand a little more technically.
Yes.
And I think people in life have been your biggest teacher. And look how beautifully you've carved your own niche out of it.
Yeah. So, starting from like my childhood, when I was a sports person, a diver, being an army officer's daughter, I was always very disciplined, hardworking. I mean, there is no other way, no substitute for hard work and to remain focused on what you're doing. I feel I love so many things. I enjoyed my career as a sports person. I enjoyed my work as a cabin crew, traveling the world, meeting people, making friends, seeing the world. I was also part of the VVIP crew, which flies the prime ministers, so it's a different experience altogether to be selected amongst a lot to take care of, your VVIP set from the country. Then coming back to Ahmedabad and doing organic farming, I studied a lot. Everything that PhD degree owner has to study, I've practiced it. So I've learned from the best in the industry. I've done courses in Philadelphia. I've trained with a Vietnamese master. I've gone to China, did all my bonsai training, everything. And I think each experience, you learn something from it. And I like to translate all that into my work. So when someone says, "Aapne landscaping kahan se seekhi?" it's very difficult to answer, because it's not just one thing. It's not just the landscaping course that you study. It's all the experiences which help you.
It's like a cumulative learning that you have, through
It
the
is.
years
Yes.
and observations.
Yes. And that is for any field. It's not just my field. Of course, for all designers, they have to be observant and learn from all other different cultures. There's so much you can learn today because of internet and social media. We have a lot more exposure. But earlier on, you had to read, you had to observe, you had to make notes.
And you didn't stop at making it just your hobby. You actually converted into a successful business practice and then mentorship. So
yes,
lots to learn from your journey.
Yes, thank you so much about that. And I feel, when we were in school and college, there were only 2-3 professions: doctor, engineer. I was also an engineering student for that. And then I dropped out. And because of my diving, my father said, just do your diving because that is your passion. And I was very lucky to have parents who encouraged me. Otherwise,
in a world where parents were not so supportive and liberal around ideas.
Liberal with a girl. I was 16 when I moved to London for my training for 3 years. And and in a sport like diving, people didn't know what diving was. Swimming, people didn't know.
And you trained alongside British Olympic
team. Yes. My coach was a world champion himself. I used to train with the British Olympic team. I represented India in a lot of internationals, age group internationals, European Championship, pre-World Championship in Australia, where I came 7th, which was a big thing because diving is not a priority sport. So that I've always carried forward, what I learned in my sports, and the discipline also being a cabin crew, the responsibility, it's not just looking glamorous and serving. Cabin crew has a bigger responsibility of safety, which is very, very important and which people don't realize. And so, everything I've carried to my landscaping, which is fun. But I'm very disciplined in that way, hardworking. So I just say, whatever your field be, even if you're in a chemical industry, if you're doing anything which people may feel, you have to find the passion in it. And that is the only way you will sustain yourself in that job.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful masterclass for me. But I always wonder that being the coffee lover that you are, if you went on a coffee date with yourself when you were 16, what would you advise your younger self versus when you turn, let's say, 80? How would you nostalgically look at your life journey and, feel happy about?
So at the moment, I think if I were to go on a coffee date with a 16-year-old, me at 16, I was never, I had no time for any coffee date or to spare any time, because it was 8 to 10 hours of training for my diving, for which I used to do gymnastics, trampolining, and of course 4 to 5 hours of diving and strength training. I wish I would just have taken at least little time off and had taken that coffee break and just, chilled. So I feel that is something I would have
relaxed, have a more relaxed.
Little, not been so after my sports, but that's who I am.
You've laid the foundation of hard work early on, and that's why you can relax now.
That's why I feel I can relax now. Yeah,
so it was a good ratio in this life taught.
Yes, absolutely. And the 80-year-old, like I said earlier, I'm never going to retire. I would be probably doing more of golf later on in age and continue doing my projects. And as right now I'm focusing more on my landscaping projects, I'll again go back to doing teaching and taking more workshops, start learning new skills. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff which is going to come, new events, new things which will happen in the world, and I want to learn everything.
Lovely. This is like the zest that we need to have. We're not even like reaching the midlife, but we still feel abhi aur kitne saal, and listening from you, I think we've just begun our journey.
Yes, we all, every day, if you just wake up every morning hoping to do something, learning something, going out, experiencing, in life, things will happen. You will never, there are ups and downs. It's a given. So you have to just move on and just look at the ups. Downs khatam ho jayenge. Well, it will happen. That's how life is,
You've already given us the pearls of wisdom, but if I still had to define a genre, since you've donned many hats, been a escape-in crew, been a landscape artist, you're still, really looking forward to the later years of your life. How would you tell the younger generation to keep reinventing themselves at every stage of their life and not be tied up with the barriers or boxes that, the world around them puts?
I feel you have to be very authentic. You have to be true to your own self, which is very important. Stay focused, learn, work hard. There is no substitute for that. I mean, I can say it 100 times. There is no substitute. There is no easy way to success. So, if you focus on your work and you keep hobbies for yourself, for me, it's like reading, sports, which keeps me fit. If you're a fit person, your mind is going to be fit and you're not going to be affected by what people say or what's happening around you. You use up your good a few hours on taking care of yourself. You will have enough time to focus on the right thing. So, so that's what you do. You focus on your project or whatever career you've taken, whatever study.
Having a purpose in life.
Absolutely. Having a purpose in life and finding a way to be happy. Just keep yourself happy. When you're happy, everything looks brighter.
That's a beautiful note on which we end this Her Voice, and it was a pleasure having you. We look forward to having you again when you're 80. And reflecting back on this and, taking new pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much, Anuja.
Thanks, Shweta, and thanks, Her Voice, for having me here. And it's been a great pleasure.
Thanks.